Okay, folks, this is a video for Bruce Linker and for Larry Pesavento. And before I get started, Bruce, I'm not going to show Larry anything about this model. I'm going to also, however, I'm going to show both of you the theory behind it. For you, Bruce, in another video, I will explain how to trade the model. And for Larry, I want him to understand the significance of statistical analysis of trades so that he can use that with neural nets and other areas, because it's real critical. He's got something that's really interesting, and I think I can help him refine it further. Okay, folks, this is a chart of the NASDAQ 100 futures NQM19. And as you can see, Bruce and Larry, that's Friday's trade. I believe I got it right. But bottom line is, you can see where it breaks down, gives you a short, and quickly gets out. Now, let me show you a list of trades. There are like 200 and, I think in this case, 278 trades in this sampling. Okay, folks, what I want to show you is I'm trading with 3 contracts, and I'm only shooting basically for a $50 target per each contract. Therefore, you get the $150 target before commissions, which are right around, basically for the round trip, about $7.11. But here's the one thing I want to show about the chart, and this is the one thing that will utterly amaze you and also scare the living crap out of you. Let me show you what the equity curve on this model looks like. Okay, here's the equity curve for that model. Notice how it looks like a machine gun line, except for 4 or 5 little blips that really will, like I say, scare the pants out of you. But I'm going to show you how to avoid all that. And this goes back to the whole idea of timing and looking at a distribution of trade so you fully understand how everything works. But bottom line is, this thing is incredibly accurate. I mean, this thing wins more than, I guess a magnet on a roulette table set for one set of numbers. It just keeps hitting it all the time. But there are times when reversals occur, news, whatever the heck it is, will cause this thing to basically get to a point and then reverse quickly and blow you out. But I'm going to show you statistically how to avoid all that and make this thing what I call a 3-minute money machine, because that's basically what I've turned it into. Hold on and I'll bring all that data in here. Okay. Now let's look at the data. Notice what I did was I looked at the buy and sell points in terms of time, and I decided to calculate the number of minutes in which those trades took place. That was a duration or length of time. And Larry, just stick with me through this analysis, because I'm going to take it from pattern analysis into neural net analysis in another video. But I want you to capture what I'm talking about here, because it's real critical to my explaining to you what you guys could do to improve that time model that you have. Now, notice where are the real ugly bad trades coming from? There are trades that last 121 minutes. I don't think I'm going to hang on to a day trade for 121 minutes. The point is, once that thing's reversed and gotten out of a zone, that thing's going to go wherever the heck it wants, and it ain't going in the direction you want it to go to win. So, and if you'll look at all this, you'll see that all the really ugly losers in this thing are in for 15 minutes, 86 minutes. There's another 112 nuclear bomb right there, 112 minutes. You don't even want to be in these things for 11 minutes. And let me now show you what is most amazing about this model. I'm going to stop it again and I'll show you what I'm doing here. Okay, I think I can record this now. What I did was, and I'm going to slide Let's see if I can make this work without blowing up the recording. What I did was, in this case, was to look for distributions of data by time. In other words, in this case, I decided I want to filter out everything that trades in 3 minutes or less. And here's what I came up with. In essence, in 3 minutes or less, you got what in essence is, I think, 278 examples of trades that this model generated. And over here, what you have are the 3 minute or less trades. Now I'm going to go kind of slow through this. What's one thing you notice when it's 3 minutes or less? And by the way, I've done this week after week after week after week after week. I might even say after week, just to drive you crazy. The point is, you look down there, and what do you see? You see 204 trades that do not lose. In fact, they hit that target every single time. Now, there's an issue with regard to where the stops are, and that's something, Larry, that we'll talk about, because you always talk about playing defense as the #1 way to make money, and this is particularly true in this model. But I'll discuss that in just a minute. But as you can see, and you count them, I'll show you the distribution in a minute. Let's go back up there and show you the distribution. I'm sorry for that noise, but that's just the way this stupid machine works. All right, here is a distribution of those 3 minute trades. In other words, you've got 3 minutes, you got 2 minutes, and you got anywhere from 0 to 1 minute, because sometimes this thing will literally trade in anywhere from about 7 seconds to about 45 seconds, hits its target, gets out. Now notice, there are 204 total trades, all of them winners, that trade in less than 3 minutes. Now, at 0 to 1 minute, there's 160 of those. And what I did, I looked at what the minimal risk factor would be so that you could get at least a 10%, somewhere around a 90% winner function for the 0 to 1 minute. And when you use minus 210 as a stop, it ends up being you'll lose 15 times, which is 9% out of those 160. So you're still stair-stepping over time 145 winning trades. But once you get beyond 1 minute, you begin to see that percentage get worse. In other words, a third of your trades will lose. That's 9 out of 27. And then you go to 3 minutes, it becomes 6 out of 17, which is like 35%. Even though in aggregate it's 14%. Once you get past 0 to 1 minute, the returns begin to decline. And now, what does that mean? That means if the trade goes longer than 1 minute, your job is to get that thing to be as close to break even as possible. Because why would you want to take the risk of losing $210 10% of the time when you know the thing is going to bounce back pretty close to break even? And many times it will. It'll try to hit the target 2 or 3 times within that first minute. So bottom line is, that's why I call this thing the 3 minute money machine, is that once you get past 1 minute, all you do is try to get as close to break even, get out of there, and 4 out of 5 days at least, and sometimes 9 out of 10 days in a 2-week period, this thing's going to win. It wins and wins and wins and wins and wins. Now, I'm currently scaled at 3 contracts, but I believe that with this new methodology for moving the stops, that I could be at 4 contracts in approximately basically 5 or 6 trading days. So you just keep scaling up. My goal is to get to 10 contracts on day trading margin. I'm not going to load the boat, and I can tell TradeStation that. But the bottom line is to get about $500 a day out of this. And if they would just fix Forex, and if the CME would drag the full-blown TF contract away from ICE and put it on their platform, this model works even better on the Russell. But you can't. Bottom line is you can't trade the full Russell contract through TradeStation on the CME, and I have no understanding why that is. But bottom line, that's how this works. And in another video, Larry, I will take these concepts and I will apply them to neural net analysis so you can kind of see where I'm going with differences in time span and patterns that you could probably analyze in something like NeuroShell Trader. And if you put those two methodologies together, I think it's going to blow your mind in terms of how well not only you might be able to target entries, but you could also perhaps even target exits. Because all I'm about, I want to make sure I win a lot. I want to make as much money as I can with as little risk as possible. Now, I realize I can't own the universe. Nobody can. And as you know, this whole model is kind of based on that Bernard Baruch concept. I don't care about getting the top 10% or the bottom 10%. I want the 80% in the middle. This is an 80% in the middle kind of model. But I believe you could take those same things with even larger profits, looking at ABCD patterns and getting the time model to get pretty close to where you see those bottoms, and I can explain that later. But it's a very doable prospect if you're willing to put in the work like I have on this model to do the same thing with neural nets. I just wish I had a better way to take data from TradeStation and put it into NeuroShell Trader, but it doesn't exist. And I've gotten tired of paying for eSignal because I tell people you're paying almost 3 times for data you only use once when you use eSignal. But at any rate, I'm rambling now. That's the end of this video. Larry, I will come back to you. It may be another week before I do it, but I will come back to you and I will give you the information as to how you guys could structure what you're doing right now, putting it in line with pattern analysis, and really create, I think, a pretty much of a very accurate slingshot approach of having highly probable and profitable trades. More later. Thanks, guys. Sorry for the rambling. Take care.